Hey, hello, and welcome to the show. It is me, John Park, and it is time for John Park's Workshop. Thank you so much for joining me. I was alarmed when I hit the button there because I'm much darker than I had expected in here. I adjusted my shutter speed a little bit so that I wouldn't be quite as out of focus when I hold something up to the camera. Let's hold something up to the camera. If it'll focus on it, yeah. So now I'm not quite as focused. There you go. But I should mess around with, well, that was the aperture, but I should mess with f-stop. No, what's the word I'm looking for? Exposure. Anyway, hello. Thanks for joining me. We've got a show here today. We've got people joining us in our chats. Thanks, Dave Odessa, for hopping on in over on our YouTube chat. The Discord chat is right here. Hello, Thin Man. Hello, C. Grover. Thanks for jumping in. Looks like Andy Calloway is joining there. So if you are somewhere where there's no chat, look for our Discord server. You can go to adafruit.it/Discord. That'll take you right to an instant invite. You can join our server and then look for that live broadcast chat channel. We have a bunch of channels. Look for that live broadcast chat channel and you will find us. I need to also make an adjustment. We're gonna play around with this in a bit, but I had actually turned on the heater on my little HVAC unit there, and it was starting to get really hot. I do not need the heater, I promise you. It's hot out. Let's see. Andy says, I've completely fallen out of focus right now, so I've just been doing my taxes. Oh, good luck to you. Hey, Johnny Bergdahl. Thanks for joining. So, what I've got for you today, it is a coupon code. It is a recap of the product pick of the week. I've got a CircuitPython Parsec for you. I've got a update on the One Key keyboard project. Code has been checked in. I also made a neat add-on for it, and I want to give you a little bit more of a demo. And then I've also got a couple of neat little tool kind of things I wanted to talk about. So that should be the bulk of it, yeah? So, as I said, I've got a coupon code for you. Look at that right there. That's the coupon code today. Woodpecker. If you want to get 10% off in the Adafruit shop, just head there, throw some stuff in the cart that we can ship to you, because this will not work on gift certificates, software, or subscriptions, but it works on stuff. I don't believe we have any restrictions on the stuff. And 10% off until midnight tonight, East Coast time in the US, if you use the coupon code Woodpecker. And that coupon code is because this morning, as I was making my morning coffee, I heard a woodpecker outside, and looked, sure enough, brrr, there was a woodpecker up on a telephone pole, just beating the thing with his face, and that's crazy, and that became my obsession for the morning. And therefore, that became the coupon code for today. So Woodpecker is going to get you 10% off in the store. If you want to head on over to the shop, just go right there. Adafruit.com is the shop. That's the main page. We've got some new products listed here, as well as drop down for the full new products array. Lots and lots of new sensors that have come out. I've ordered some of these, and I'll be trying them out and letting you know what I think and doing some product picks with them in the future. But if you want to get one right now at 10% off, go ahead. And of course, we also have all of these different categories of stuff you can go and sort through. I've shown this trick before, but I like this one. If I go to the search at the top and just type in Adafruit, you can then filter by in stock, most recent, and you'll see the stuff that has either come out most recently or had an update and is an Adafruit branded thing. But of course, you can use that search for anything you want to look for. So that's the coupon code for the day, Woodpecker. Type that in. Save money. All right, next up I have a... Oh, okay, wait, this warrants a story. Thank you, Andy Calloway, for popping this in and reminding me. Okay, so Woody Woodpecker. I sent that, a little video I took of the woodpecker that we had this morning. I sent that to my family group chat, and we were talking about it, and Woody Woodpecker, of course, came up, and I told the kids, look, I grew up on a Woody Woodpecker who was designed in the 50s and 60s, basically, who's similar in a lot of ways to that one right there. But sometimes when I was watching cartoons in the late 70s, early 80s, when I was watching cartoons, after-school cartoons in the Woody Woodpecker block, they would air one of the really weird 1940 original, I think Fritz Lang designed Woody Woodpecker, where he just looks unhinged. Can I just share with you for a moment how unhinged Woody was in his early days? If you're not familiar with this, let's do it. Let's go to the browser. Woody Woodpecker design history. This will get you an image here. Convince it to go to images. Yeah, sure, this one right here. View image, and honestly, sure, I'm getting used to this browser. Yeah, look at this one right here. This guy, can I zoom in? This guy right here. Oh, it won't let me zoom any further than that. Weird. But do it on your own browser where you might have a little more control. Yeah, I can't do that. 1940 Woody up to 43, super unhinged. Much more normal in the 40s, 50s. He becomes a little cute. He gets much smaller. But wild to go look at that original one, I say. So that's what I got on Woody there. Thank you for reminding me of that. So I do believe Mel Blanc was the original voice, and his song at the beginning and his laugh was used even after other voice actors took over, because his laugh was so good, which I will not attempt. All right, enough on Woody there. Let's see, next up, I've got the product pick of the week show on Tuesdays. This was this week's product pick, and here is a little recap for you.
We also have 2 breakout boards that we updated. So these are actually updates. We've had these OLEDs before, but...
Wait, that's not the recap. That was Lamore's movie. Let me try to add that to a new... Sorry about that. Let's see, can I...
We also have 2 breakout boards that we updated. So these are actually updates. We've had these OLEDs before, but I was in the mood to update them because I was actually trying to use these for a lot of projects with, plug and play. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to revise these. I'm going to add auto reset.
Nope, sorry. I think I had a problem with my syncing. My files sync on the cloud and then back to this machine. That video is simply not available. Sorry about that. It is up on YouTube. You can go check it out there, but I apparently don't have a copy on this machine. But go check that out. Can I play it on YouTube? Let's find out. Let's see how that works. Why not? Oh, I'm not even signed in. There we are. I don't think I have a good way to pipe that audio through. The monochrome 0.91-inch OLED display, 128 by 32 pixels with Stemma QT. USB-C power, and there you go. MIDI is ready. So now if I play a little MIDI keyboard that I have off to the side that's piped through my computer with MIDI pipe to send any of those MIDI notes that I play here over to the display. I'll set an arpeggio going because this actually is pretty performant. You can see, just telling me when I have a note on, held, and a note off message. Also the velocity, so if I press it lightly, or full strength, and then whatever the note name is and the MIDI number there. It is the monochrome 0.91 inch OLED display, 128 by 32 pixel with Stemma QT. All right, maybe I should just do reaction videos to my own videos from now on. That was easier than finding that file, apparently. Whoa, hey, more videos are playing now. It's a little bit scary logging into YouTube without being signed in as yourself. Some of the things that will come up. All right, next up, this should work. It's time for the CircuitPython Parsec. CircuitPython Parsec. Okay, on the CircuitPython Parsec today, I wanted to talk about sending UART commands from CircuitPython to a UART serial display. So what I've got here, you can see a little display. This is the XCamera Labs Term Driver 2, which has a set of pins going into it from a Metro RP2040 that I have over here on the side. These are a serial transmit, a serial receive, and power, 3.3 volts in this case, and ground. So with those connected, I'm able to send UART print out to, or write UART out to that display. If you take a look at, I'm gonna restart this just to get the blasting bright light out of there. So if I run that now, okay, you'll see it has just, and I'm going to go to a full screen for a moment on that down camera just because that display is very small. So you can see here it just says welcome to UART, and if I run there we go. If I rerun that, you're going to see a little green blink up in the corner as it receives a serial command or a UART command. So that's just sending one single command. Let me go ahead and run this in a loop, and now you're going to see some text get printed, and I'm just going to indent that text each time. Just says CircuitPython Parsec over and over again. If I go back to this display right here, you can see I'm also sending that to my REPL. So the way this works in CircuitPython is a little different than using something like a display I/O driver. This is a much older, simpler serial form using UART. So the way that we do this is I'm importing the board for definitions and bus I/O so that I have a UART bus that I can send out on. I then create that UART instantiation here, busio.uart, and then I tell it the pins that I'm using. Turn off those diagnostics. The pins that I'm using for transmit, in this case D0, receive D1, and the baud rate that we're going to send on. Then I'm just doing a little bit of a sleep so that we have time for that UART to boot up, or for the term driver to boot up. And then I'm clearing the screen. So here I'm using a binary code for clear screen, followed by one for cursor home. And that's why you'll see if I resave this, the first thing that happens on this display is that it clears it out, pauses a moment, and then starts to write. The way we're writing in the loop here is I'm saying UART.write, and then a number of spaces, or a space, just a blank space multiplied by the indent value. That's just how I'm moving this across the screen. Followed by CircuitPython Parsec, and then some characters to close that out, and encoding that as a byte string to send out to the display. At the same time, I'm also sending this to the regular REPL. And then we pause for a quarter second and increase that indent with a modulo 24 so it wraps back around. So this is kind of an interesting alternative to having just LEDs or other feedback. If you are doing UART stuff on your microcontroller in sort of a headless mode, you can send out to a little display like this. And that is how you can send UART commands from CircuitPython to the term driver 2. That is your CircuitPython Parsec. Indeed it is. So bear with me a moment while I find some screens. I'm still getting used to this single display setup I've got. There we go. Andy in the chat said that the 1957 version of Woody Woodpecker has Daffy Duck aspirations. Yeah, definitely. The completely unhinged bird thing was definitely part of what I think they were capturing with Woody Woodpecker. Andy also notices that Lars has the new friend. Yeah, our new friend over here. I don't know if you saw this guy. I used him for a little CircuitPython or a Circle Playground demo. Or sorry, that's a little Flora demo. Let's see, does it still have battery? It has a convenient. Oh, I left it on, so no, batteries are dead. But yeah, that's this little lemon character who we're not sure what to name this lemon character yet. From the factory, it's Clement. I think it's Clement. So let me know what you think. All right. Next up, let's talk about the one key Bluetooth gizmo. So where did I put it? It's sitting right here. So let's see, how's that focus working? Good. So there is the sort of final thing. I've got a power button there. If I turn that on, you'll see it turns on. It has a single mechanical key switch. And if you look behind me, you'll see we are cycling between some different photos. Let me go to a main cam where you can see that a little better. So each time I press this, I have a Raspberry Pi back there that is paired with my little button here. And I'm just using it in this case to, I think it's maybe just Alt-Tab. I can't remember. We'll check in a second. But it's essentially the Alt-Tab behavior that's switching between two windows of an application. And so we have a picture of a monitor there and a picture of a cat. I believe this is Todd Kurt's cat. And I was just looking for images on that Raspberry Pi, and I'm pretty sure that's Todd's cat. And I don't want to dox the cat, so that's all I'll say. But cat, monitor, cat, monitor. So that right now is the single thing it can do. I can turn it off. Let's see, that powers down, and if I turn that back on, it powers up. It turns blue when it gets the connection, and it's already reconnected to that device over there. So if we come back here for a moment, the limitation, of course, one of the big limitations on this is it just does one thing. And there are some options for dealing with a one-button device, such as holding it while you power it on, maybe switches it to a second mode, maybe do long press versus short press, or some Morse code types of things. But when I was thinking about this, so this is coded in Arduino. It's a QtPy ESP32, the Pico V2-3 or whatever it is, sort of the original ESP32 module. It's coded in Arduino, so it's not that convenient to plug it in over USB and just change what it does as it would be in CircuitPython. So instead what I did was I used non-volatile storage on it that can be written to over serial. And so that's what I want to show you right now. I'm going to plug this in to this computer right here. I'll show all this as I do it. And I'm going to write serial commands to it to change the behavior of the thing. So let's go to a down cam and a browser, and I'll hide me there. Just move this off to the side. And I'll put a little me in the corner. Okay, so let me focus this. I'm gonna plug this in over USB. So that charges the LiPo battery, and it also allows me to connect to it over serial, USB serial. And then what I'm going to do is I could open up a serial terminal session like something like the serial monitor in Arduino, and write to it, which is what I did at first when I was testing. But then I decided if I wanted to get complicated with it and send commands that are a little more elaborate, or be able to do things like change the sleep timeout or the color of the LED, I'd need to memorize a lot of commands. So instead, what I did was I created a web serial application for configuring the keyboard, or the one-button keyboard here. So you can see here I have this thing that says one-button keyboard. Oh, can I scroll this up a little bigger? Yeah, I can. Okay. That's probably good. And what I'm going to do is I'm using a web serial capable browser here, so something like Chrome or Edge. I'm using Vivaldi actually. And you can see at the top here it says we're not connected. So I'm going to click connect. You won't see this, but it just opened up a serial port menu. So I'm picking the single serial USB that is this device. And you'll see now this little light says connected. And it tells me what my current configuration is, which is Alt and Escape. So if you look at the monitors behind me, it is connected over Bluetooth. There we go. And each time I press that, it switches that image. If I want to change anything here, I'll pick from some configurations and then hit send. So I think the easiest thing to see at first is just the LED color. So right now you can see I have a sort of purple color when I'm connected. Let's change that to blue. So I'm going to change to blue and apply that, and you can see now my connected color is blue and my pressed color is yellow. So when I'm pressing that, it turns yellow. So again, we can change that. Let's do green when it's pressed. Apply that, and now we've got and all this is doing is sending a serial command over to the device, which we could do without the web serial app, but you can see this makes it a lot easier. The command otherwise would be color, colon, and then the RGB values, enter, and you kind of have to keep some syntax in mind there. So another thing I have on here is the sleep timeout. So right now, after 5 minutes, it goes into a deep sleep, and I have it going into as deep a sleep as it can to preserve battery life. And since, just because of how this is wired up, the A2 button that the BFF, the little mechanical key switch BFF defaults to, since that one is not a sort of a watchdog pin, one that can be checked during deep sleep, I decided I'm just powering it off and on when it's running on USB power, and that's I've already got an on-off switch there, so that's how we'll activate it after that. So, but if I want to change this, let's say I'll say go to 10 minutes before turning off. And you can see down here I have a little serial log that says what those commands are. So if I change sleep to 10 minutes up here, it just sends that sleep colon 10 over serial. So if I disconnect the browser here and open up a serial port, we could do that from serial. Maybe we'll do that in a minute. You can see here, what do these color commands look like that I mentioned? So let's go to about yellowish when we're connected, and there it sent this command color connected is 251, 255, 0, and the colored pressed is 20, 255, 24, so green. And then the brightness, so we can change that. Let's drop that down. So it's half as bright now. I'll crank this back up. And I like the blue just because this is a Bluetooth device. It's nice to see blue when things are connected. And that also works on the little bottom pin there. So you can see when I click that, or rather the bottom LED on the bottom of the Cutie Pie. And then the sort of meat and potatoes of this is this upper part, which is what key are we actually sending. So if I, let's see, I don't think I have a good way right now to do the Alt tab that'll switch on a second monitor to a different screen, but I'm just gonna click over there. That may just be beyond what this can do, but I'll click here on, this is a 2-screen Raspberry Pi setup, So that middle screen there, I'll switch it over to just do like a Control C. So I'll reset all this stuff and say we're going to press a key combo of Control, and then you can either pick from a drop down if it's a sort of special key, or you can just type the key. So I'm going to say that's a C. Here you can see what it's going to send as a Control C, and I'll scroll down to the serial log here when I press send, and you can see, all right, Control C is what we're going to get. So if I show you that display, you'll see in the middle there I have a terminal and I'm just hitting Control C. Let me zoom in there a little bit. Whoops, wrong way. There we go. Okay, so now if I go back to this and type in a string, how about? I can do something like hello world. Okay, so I just sent that to this device, and now you'll see when I press the single button, we get the words hello world showing up. Oh, I just turned it off. Sorry, that wasn't powered on. All right, so that should power up. Let me bring the me window back. There, so we're just typing hello world. And that doesn't do us much good, so let me plug this back in. Since I'm far away from that, I'm just going to clear it out. So I'll do another key combo. So Control C, it kind of remembered that one. So I will send that. And there, I've kind of reconnect. Hold on. And so Control C, send that. I'll hide this. Click this. All right, so I've just escaped out of there. Now, if I want to do a string followed by a key, I've got this one right here, string plus key. So here we can do real commands. So if I want to say something like ls-lart, and after that I want something to get pressed, in this case I want it to press enter, you can see the format. Sorry, let me bring that on. So here we go, string plus key. I typed this in, ls-lart, which will give us a long listing in reverse chronological order with hidden files of the current directory. And this is what that looks like in the sort of little serial language I've got. Hit send, and now hide this out of the way. Boop. So that just listed the directory. So just typed in all that and hit list. And then beyond that, we've got media keys, so we can pick from volume up, down, mute, and so on. I don't think those work on this Raspberry Pi. I had it working on a Windows laptop before, but not this Raspberry Pi. So I'll try it. Let me send and see if that does anything. No, I don't see any volume thingy coming on. I think maybe mute worked for some reason. Yeah, I can see it. You won't probably be able to see it, but right at the very bottom right corner next to the clock, you'll see an icon turn reddish, and now it'll turn bluish. That's mute and unmute happening there. So I'm not sure what's up with the volume thing. I need to look into that. Let's see. Anything else it does? All right, so let's just do a simple one here. I'm gonna switch over to a serial connection. So I'm going to disconnect the web serial here and move that out of the way. And let me open up, I'll just bring up Zed and hide some stuff here. All right, so over here in Zed, let me USB serial, Okay, oh, it didn't want it. Let me see if that's actually didn't disconnect properly. Bear with me. Oh, no, I don't want those. Okay, yeah, I think it is that USB serial. I can't remember how to tell it the speed, but I think it defaults to 1150, 200 or whatever. Okay, there, it looks like it connected. So if I do a... Can I type into this? No, okay, let me bail on that and try... do I have Arduino on here? I don't. I don't think I have a good serial program on here. Okay, so forget that for now. But I'll maybe show this next time. But for now, we'll just have to use the web serial. So I'm going to reconnect to it, repair it, and I'll do a string plus key, which will just be the word clear, and an enter. Send that, hide that, and power it on. You're on. Let's see. Maybe I didn't get it. Let's plug that back in. Disconnect. Connect. Connected. Clear and enter. Send. Okay, it had just some junk text from my attempts at using that other screen serial, I think, but that should be cleared up now. So if I hide this, and boop, yeah, so it typed in the word clear and then hit enter. Let me know if you have suggestions for other features. One thing I kind of want to do is add pauses, little timeouts to say I want to pause a moment. Also, hold a key while pressing and release a key, because I think there's a version of this that would work for Alt-Tab on every application on the Raspberry Pi, which is, I think the Alt gets held while Tab gets pressed. If you tried just the two of them, it just kind of keeps bouncing between the same app over and over again. I could show you that. So if I go here, and yeah, we're still connected, I think. So let's do a key combo. And we clear this. Alt and Tab and send. Yeah, so it tries, but it just immediately bounces. So Alt-Tab wants you to hold the Alt and hit the Tab to switch between them, I think, is how that works on there. A little different than on Windows. And that's it. Those are the features of it. So let me know if anyone has any suggestions on that or any questions. The other thing I wanted to show is this code. Let me go back to this view here. So this code is a GitHub page. So in my GitHub repo for this, the one key keyboard, so that's under J. Edgar Park, one key keyboard, you'll find it there. The final version of the code is actually up on Adafruit Learn, and I think I'm going to make a separate repo on Adafruit just for one key. That'll make it easier to publish this page, but for now it's just on my personal one. And so this GitHub pages, it deploys this index.html as a page that you can host, a simple HTML page there. This is what it looks like. So this is all Claude code generated, and then me hand tweaking some stuff for design and iterating a few times. But this is all just HTML with some scripts that do these serial write commands. So it's over USB to the device, and then the device is using Bluetooth to send over the air. So you can go check all that out, but I'm putting a learn guide together. The code for the actual QtPy is up on Learn. You can just look for one key, and that index.html is in there too. You can run that locally. You don't have to have it on a hosted page. That's just a convenience option for people who don't want to host it or run it locally. So that is where the one key is at. All right. So I'm going to unplug that, and thanks again to Todd for unwittingly sharing his cat with us. I saw John Nodge said the lemon wedge here, if it were a fighter pilot, would we call him Wedge? I like that. Star Wars, right? Okay. Tool talk, and yeah, let's switch over to this workbench over here. So I've got a new tool. I wanted to talk about it. Let me go to this, and I'm just going to fix this camera here a little bit. And is that mic on? It is. Oh, actually, yeah, I have two things. I have two things left I want to show. This is one of them. Okay, so tightening nuts, and in this case, bolts with a hex head on them. The right tools for this tend to be ones that I have on a pegboard back here, and I have to move my little monitors out of the way. So either a proper set of open-end box wrenches or an adjustable wrench which has parallel jaws that can adjust to the proper size, and those are essentially locked in place as you go to turn this. And then this one's sticky, but you adjust it with a little thumb screw, and off you go. These work great. They are a little bit slow. They're not going to be as strong as a dedicated box end wrench probably, but they're super convenient. It's what I use if I don't know kind of what I'm going to encounter, and I just have a limited number of tools in a bag. I'll probably have one of these or some variant of it. So another part of this story is I've had a nice Knipex pipe wrench, or what do you call it, a heater wrench, forever. So these are also adjustable. You can pick the size. These have not got parallel jaws. They're a little closer to parallel than something like a regular pair of pliers, which is a disaster for this type of thing because you're never going to contact two of these walls at the same time. This has some geometry where you can get pretty good purchase on things. So these are real nice. However, I recently learned that Knipex started making at some point in the past, I don't know, decade or so that I wasn't paying attention, something called a pliers wrench. And this is a super miniature version of it, which I think is adorable. But it's actually way more capable than I thought at first, and can handle a much larger size than you'd think because it has a cool trick. So first of all, you'll notice that is a parallel action. And sorry, one second, I'm just going to bring on my there we go, bring on my live broadcast chat there. Here we go. I was thinking about these because I had used these sort of jeweler's parallel pliers. So similar idea, right? The little 4-bar linkage here means that these stay parallel to each other. So something like this it can't open big enough for that guy there, but it can grip both sides of a nut, hex nut, pretty nicely. And they're good for getting into some sort of weird angles. This one has a very particular, this is a jeweler's one of some kind, or a watchmaker's one, I'm not sure. Someone gave it to me, Doug North gave this to me. The reason I was using it was actually to press magnets into 3D printed stuff. That one key keyboard I had, I think I showed this last week, I used something like this to just press with parallel pressure and not get the little magnet kinked off on an angle. But since I was using this, I was like, you know what, I've heard about these, I'm going to order one of them. They're not cheap, it's made in Germany, it's $40-something. This is I think the smallest one, I hope the smallest one, 4-inch, and then they go up to like 6, 8, 10, 12, so there's, I think there's a 10-inch on this plier, so you can get really hefty sized ones. And I think as you get into larger sizes, there's also some that have a little more automated resizing. But speaking of resizing, so we've got this little cam action here that gives us the parallel grip, and you can see for something like a M2.5 nut there, that works great. It's also super thin, so you can compare that to these jeweler ones are pretty wide. One side is skinny, but these are super narrow compared to a typical box wrench, and they have this trick of if you open the jaws just a little further, you can slide along this track and get look at the size of that. That is not far off from how far this one can go. It's about like the midway point on this huge 10-inch or 12-inch, whatever that one is, on this little tiny thing you can carry in your pocket. So this right here is a 1/2-inch bolt. I can grab that, and trick number 2 is it's self-locking. So I don't need to use my grip strength, which you do on something like this. I don't need to use my grip strength, or worst is something like this where you're like trying to bite down on it. This actually, yeah, you can see there, I'm just cranking this into this soft wood. One finger operation there. It's not about clamping it with your hands, which is fantastic. It's only going to do that in one direction. But if I need to loosen this, again, I can get that to an adjustment size that works well. And now it binds. So boom, I've just loosened that off of there. There we go. So super cool, and I can see myself getting a large, more reasonable size for stuff like this. Here's a 1/4-inch. And I don't know yet if there's like some clever one-handed way for adjusting this that doesn't look awkward. But there you can see I've got this go one size smaller. I've got 1/4-inch there. This one's a 1/2-inch. But the thing that I was thinking this might be really useful for is some of these little fiddly panel nuts on potentiometers and jacks. This is a little Eurorack amp and speaker I built a number of years ago, and it's got a little tiny hex nut on there holding a audio jack in place. This is actually a nice satin finish on here. This is not going to scratch up the surface as likely as some of my other tools. A lot of these have like nice aluminum faceplates I wouldn't want to scratch up, but I think this is not an unreasonable way to get that last, because often I'll tighten these by finger, or I'll 3D print a thing that can get it tight up to a certain point but can't really torque it down without slipping the plastic. But this, I can just get that little extra bit there. Let's see, I don't want to remove that one right now, but there's, well, yeah, why not? Let's take this chicken head knob off of here. Right, so all of these type of little guys, I like it. Quite nice. Should probably go this direction, right? This would be the proper direction to do that. But you've got clearance. You can, in some cases you could come from the top here if you have to, but the real benefit is this orientation of it. So pretty neat. And that right there, let's see, do I have camera switcher running? No, let me switch cameras real quick just so I can show you. Yeah, Ion U2 Darth Paul. Nut drivers work best for those thin panel nuts. Absolutely right. Yeah, this is not the best case scenario for that. More of a I was lazy and didn't have all the right tools around for it kind of moment. So I have a little Leatherman wave pouch that I've had for years. I never had the Leatherman that went to this. I do have a Leatherman in my pocket, but again, this one is pliers. So none of those parallel jaw kind of benefits there. You can again use it in a bind for things, but this fits a little thing like that, and I'm tempted to do something a lot of the EDC people on YouTube seem to do, which is also get the very mini heater pipe wrench and put two of them in a little thing like that. You could probably even fit it in your coin pocket if your pants are big enough for that. So I've got that on me now. The ever-evolving what I'm carrying in my pockets may have just reached another evolutionary inflection point there with the pliers wrench. So yeah, Knipex, I think that's how the Germans pronounce it. Not cheap. This was the, let's see, I need to turn that camera switcher back on over there, but I can just show you here. I'll turn off that. There's a, what does it say? Yeah, 4-inch pliers wrench, extra small. Every other size has some insulated grip padding on the handles, but the little tiny one doesn't. So fun new tool. Go check it out. I don't make any money from Knipex for that. I just wanted to share it. Speaking of tools that I don't make any money from sharing with you, but seem pretty neat, I have finally gotten a Flipper Zero. These things, I'm sure you've seen them. They've been around for, I don't know, 4 or 5 years now, maybe. Sort of a radio pen testing Tamagotchi tool friend. I'm going to switch to down camera to take a look at. This is not an exhaustive thing, but I just wanted to show you one use case that I was impressed by the UI design of this thing. So first of all, it's got a really nice, sorry, let me focus this and put a little me in the corner. Boop, like that, okay. So I think it's an STM32 maybe of some kind as the microcontroller driving it, and then it has NFC, RFID, this little one-button reader. It has infrared, transmit and receive. It has a sub-gigahertz radio. It has maybe 1 or 2 other little tricks, but I'm gonna fire it on, and I was just so impressed by how much work they did on UI design with this little dolphin flipper Tamagotchi guy. There is a, I haven't had it long, so I'm just at level 1, but apparently as you do stuff with it, it will level you up, so it has this whole little gamification thing. There's my guy. I don't know if that's a secret name I'm supposed to not tell anyone, but that's his auto-assigned name. His mood is happy, and he's at level 1. If we... Let me go back. If we go up from here, okay, we can lock it, mute it, put it in dummy mode. I don't want to do any of those things. If we go left from that screen, we get to folders on, everything's on an SD card. It has just a little bit of internal memory, but you put a SD card in it with all the firmware and apps and stuff. Yeah, so Bluetooth, it can do some Bluetooth things, and then it's got a bunch of GPIO pins on the top. There are add-ons for it that plug directly into this, or you could just put some jumpers in depending on what you're trying to do. Yeah, in fact, I could probably do some serial out to that little term driver too. And this one right here, infrared. So this will run the app. Now the infrared app is running. So it's got universal remotes built in. So I think if you do something like the TV one, you'll flip it like this, and I'm assuming this is rolling through every possible brand of and protocol of IR, sort of like a TV be gone kind of thing. That's my guess. But what's really great is learn new remotes. So check this out. Let's see. Does this one? Yeah, let's do. I'm gonna do my camera remote. So here's a little generic brand remote, JJC, and this one is, it doesn't say it anywhere, but this one is using the Sony camera protocol, and I can use it. I don't think I have it set up to work on this camera right here. Do I? Oh, it wouldn't. This one's not a zoom. But if you look at my workshop camera for a moment, from this remote here, I can adjust a couple of things, not much, but a couple of things, including the zoom. So now if I go to this little flipper 0 friend here and say, it says point the remote at IR port and push the button. So I'm going to press the plus button here, and it said bleep, and it writes down what it thinks that protocol is, some of what the message is, and carrier. So I can save that. I'll name that button, let's see. Oh, I don't think it lets me do stuff like the plus sign, but I'm just going to name that button 1. And I'll save that. Success. And now I have a remote with just the 1. I'm going to add another button, which will be the minus. I'll save that. You can test it with send before you save it to your little remote. And I'll call this one 0. Saved. And now I have this little remote that has the 2 buttons that I just captured. So if I switch back to, let's do this main view here, and me here, so you can see, am I pressing it? I'm pressing the wrong thing. Hold on, there we go. Boom, boom, boom. Zoom in. Come down to the 0. Zoom out. So just captured that, which is really nice. I mean, and you know, I've done stuff with remotes in Arduino and CircuitPython and even MakeCode, I think, before. But the thing that I was just impressed with is the UI design of it. That's better than most universal remotes that I had back in the sort of universal remote era, and the fact that it just auto builds a little UI for you there. That's a JSON file, so you can then open this up, and in fact, let's do that just so we can try to name it. So, do I have? Oh, yes, I think I have a. I'll need a micro SD adapter. Surely I have one. Okay, so let's try this. So I'm going to turn this off. Try that again. Oh, I think he only wants to turn off from the dolphin screen. I have not learned the ways. There we go. Okay, so I think I press and hold this, just so I don't pull the SD card while it's on. Power off, dolphin cries. I'm not killing him. All right, so let's get this micro SD card here, put it into a little adapter, and put it in this computer and hope it reads it. I think it will. And let's see if we can get that open. So there's a folder, you're not going to see this, but there's a folder called infrared, and Huh, I don't think I saved. Did I not save that? It didn't show up. I'm going to open a different one, though. Well, maybe it'll be this one. It is. Okay. So let's get some screens back here. So you can see here, it just made a little file, file type IR signal file, version 1. So these are the two buttons, name 1, name 0, and the protocol, SIRC20, that must be what Sony uses, the address, and then the command. You can see 4A was the zoom in and 4B was the zoom out. So let's name this zoom plus and zoom minus and see if that breaks it. So I'll save this, close this. I'm going to eject that SD card. Is it going to yell at me? I think it's mad that Z is still running. Fine, I'll quit. I'll quit Z. Eject. Okay, let's pull that and put it in the flipper again. Wake this guy up. New animation. Did you just turn a cat into a flipper? Oh, look, he's adding, those are add-ons. Yeah, the add-ons pop onto the top. All right, that's cute. Go back. Go left, go down to infrared. Infrared, saved remotes. This one just got named remote. And look, zoom plus, zoom minus. So yeah, really impressive. And then I have seen, because of these other ones, if you look at universal remotes here, they've got these cute little icons and stuff. So I presume that that stuff is accessible, and there's little BMP files or something that you can grab. So I like that. I have a few things that I don't really want to deal with buying replacements for right away if they go out, like that one or my AC. My soundbar remote for our entertainment system in the house often gets lost. So just a quick, easy little place. It's not the most convenient, but it doesn't have real buttons. But I think it's pretty impressive. Also, the idea of I believe it's possible to gang up multiple things. It's kind of like a nice learning universal remote, but just to be able to have like my camera zoom and my air conditioner and a light or a speaker volume or something all just on one little screen is kind of neat. So that's what I've got with that. Now, if anyone is a Flipper Zero aficionado and has tips and tricks and places to go, I'm brand new at this, but I am interested in interfacing with maybe CircuitPython devices over these GPIO pins, if there's anything interesting there, like using this as a UI for stuff happening in CircuitPython or who knows what. Let me know if you've got experience, tips, places to check out about that, because I think it's interesting. And these are somewhat fashionable to malign in the press because it's a hacker device that's stealing your ATM codes or something, and it's probably capable of some of those things, and some of them I'm not so sure it can without either alt firmware or additional hardware. I'm also interested in cloning my garage door remote if that's possible. Seems like maybe that actually is, since I have the garage door motor. I can put it into learn mode and learn a new device, I think, or pairing or something like that. I think that might be possible. John Nodge in the chat said, didn't someone get MicroPython running on Flipper? Yes, I saw that there's a MicroPython for Flipper. Bring the Discord back up. And unfortunately, it doesn't seem to be able to use any of the interesting radios. It can't access the sub-gigahertz or the NFC or the RFID. Maybe it can do Bluetooth. There's also an add-on, I believe, so I got it and I haven't tried it yet. There's a little add-on board that pops on top that has an ESP32 module of some kind, which kind of ostensibly means it adds Wi-Fi to the mix, but so far I haven't been able to tell if it's actually really using the Wi-Fi or if it's using it just, it seems like it's a developer, they call it the developer board. And I think maybe the ESP32 is being used just as like a development environment for the flipper. Not sure yet, very confusing. There's another add-on that I got, which is a Raspberry Pi Pico RP2040 in a nice case that pops on top, and it has an HDMI out on it, so some of the cool typical Pico stuff. Mirrors the screen onto a computer, and I think there are some apps, games, and things like that that use an accelerometer that's on the Pico board, and this display or the HDMI. So yeah, some interesting stuff. But I like seeing a really well-designed case, injection molded plastic. Like, it is nice to have a device with that much polish to it. All right, I think that is going to do it then. That's all I had. Again, a reminder, if you want to save some money over in the Adafruit shop today, that is your coupon code, Woodpecker. And that will save you 10% off until midnight tonight, East Coast time, so go get some stuff. I was just looking in the chat, Ion U2, Darth Paul said, regarding the Knipex pliers wrench, not cheap, but you're not going to find that kind of quality at Harbor Freight. Yes, it is expensive to make it that high quality. Not to say that there aren't some good things at Harbor Freight, but yeah, this thing is really nice fit and finish. I did see one of my favorite tool blogs called Tool Guide, TOOLGUYD. Tool Guide, I believe, did a review of maybe it was like the Lowe's house brand, I forget which one that is, or Milwaukee, or someone did a knockoff, and it just was not as good. So I'm sure at some point there'll be a knockoff that's worth buying, but for now, I think the real deal is the good one. So let's see. Yeah, IonU2 said it's open source. Should be able to replicate some of it to a compatible micro board, so you can document capture with Flipper and then make a device. Yeah, I believe there is a lot of documentation out there for building a Flipper Zero from parts. I think it's an open enough design that you can get some PCBs or even just on sort of proto board, and you can make one, because there are some countries where you just can't buy it, and they've made it available as a BOM of parts and a firmware. I think that's the case, unless I'm misremembering. Also, yes, that is the Wi-Fi dev board that I got. So it's a dev board with Wi-Fi connectivity. ESP32S2 allows wireless Flipper Zero firmware update, advanced in-circuit debugging via USB or Wi-Fi. So yes, it seems like it allows you to kind of talk to the Flipper Zero. I'm not sure if there's, from what I checked, there's kind of an app store thing, free app store thing for Flipper Zero. Did not seem to be anything that then used the Flipper Zero to hop on Wi-Fi or help you with war driving to find access points or anything like that. But again, I've like barely scratched any of the surface on this, so that may be incorrect. There is a app for iPhone and an app for desktop, I think Windows and Mac, maybe also Linux, that allow you to update firmware over USB-C if you're plugged in, or over the air. I actually did mine from the phone over the air, so downloaded the firmware to the phone and then pushed it over Bluetooth very slowly, but it did successfully update the firmware over Bluetooth. Thin Man says they have a book of it on Amazon. Yeah, it's funny too. because the press decided this was only for evil, You can't buy this on Amazon. You can't buy this on eBay, at least in the US. Neither of those stores touch it. If you look on Amazon, you will find silicone cases in this book, apparently, but not much. Like, they're really scared. And I don't know exactly why. There you go. Okay. That is going to do it. Hey, thanks everyone so much for hanging out. Come on by tomorrow for a deep dive with Scott. I believe he's doing one tomorrow. And over the weekend, there may be some Desk of Lady Ada shenanigans. Look for that, or some Ion NPI, or other videos coming out from PT and Lemoore. The next show after that, Tuesday mornings, look for Deep Dive with Tim C., Foamy Guy. And then I'll have my product pick of the week. And on Wednesday, we'll have 3D Hangouts and a show and tell. So, Thin Man says, an M5 stack comes close to it. That's a good point. Yeah, I bet you could get really close, and if not beyond, with an M5 stack. So this is not fully unique, but there you go. Thank you, everyone, so much for coming to the show. For Adafruit Industries, I'm John Park, and this has been John Park's Workshop. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.